Hi, this is Robert Kiyosaki, and you're listening to Capital Hacking. This is the most important thing you can listen to today.
Hello, this is Josh McCown from Renault Winery Resort, and we have a very important announcement from Matt Sorensen about Learn and Grow, August 24th. Take it away, Matt.
I'm Matt Sorensen from Directed IRA. I'm excited to be the keynote speaker at the Learn and Grow event for Accountable Equity on August 23rd and 24th. Got to book your tickets and get registered. I'm excited to be there and to meet you in person.
I have a dream.
With great power comes great responsibility.
I could do this all day.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
They may take our life, but they'll never take our freedom.
Cinderella's story out of nowhere.
It's in the hole. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Capital Hacking begins in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the big show, Capital Hacking with Josh and John. John, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. That interview was fantastic with Matt Warner. I don't think we've ever interviewed anyone yet that does asbestos removal and hazardous material removal. Very interesting. Matt talks about how his company had a great offer from a private equity firm. So you're going to learn all about that, and you're going to learn about asbestos removal and how it works. And then there's some funny stories.
Yeah, and just in general, I think the key takeaways for me were the growth trajectory and how he's handling growth, right? So if you have a company of any kind, that's interesting. How the world values different businesses, I thought was really interesting. Sounds like he's on to something there. So if you're in the world of growing a company, I think you're going to want to pay attention here. And then, of course, we talk about the premium you get for Hazard. And apparently, it's very Breaking Bad-esque. So I think you're going to love this show.
Let's go.
It is exciting to have great, inspiring guests on the show. Thanks for having Matt here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So excited to have Matt Warner on our show. Matt, can you give us a little background on who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. My name's Matt. I live in Colorado, and I run a hazardous material removal company. So
Good idea.
It's been a fun ride. We're based out in Colorado. We've got locations in 4 different states now, and we're actually looking to expand. So we've got a pretty cool model where we've got really awesome, trustworthy people that are running the show in each location and finding crews. The way we operate, we can get it going pretty quickly at low cost, and we can hit the ground running and serve. Our goal is to serve the whole country in the next couple of years. So we're looking to grow pretty fast, pretty aggressively, and take care of as many people as possible with the way we operate.
So many good things we can learn from you, Matt. Even those of us who are not in hazardous waste, I think you're going to open up a lot of new mental, neuralistic, whatever you call them, synapses. My wife was teaching us that the other day. But, John, I'll let you go first.
Yeah. So, Matt, when did you start the business? How did you get into hazardous material?
Yeah, so the company started back in 1996. So I was 5 when it started. So definitely not the founder. But my business partner, his name's Brandon, amazing guy. He bought his half of the company back probably about 7 years ago. And I bought my half from his partner. I bought his partner out about 2.5 years ago now. So January of 2022 is when the two of us paired up and we really got the ball rolling to where we're at right now.
You know, John, I forgot to ask Matt, do you have a family out there in Denver? Is that home for you originally?
Yeah, born and raised in Colorado, just outside of Boulder. My wife and I live in Longmont. We're actually celebrating 10 years of marriage this month, which is wild. And we got 3 kids, 3 amazing kids. They're almost 5, just turned 3, and just turned 1. So they're keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, speaking of the year counting, you know how you're counting? You said we're in the month, we're going to have a 10-year anniversary. Here's an old principle that Melanie and I have worked on since we got here. I would say the day after your anniversary, you could tell everybody we're in our 11th year. I always count that way because we're in our 11th year. You remember the first year you got married is 0 year, right?
That's true.
So we're in our 11th year, bro. Congratulations, 3 kids, beautiful family, it sounds like.
Appreciate
You
it.
know, I want to compliment you on the fact that you're in hazardous waste removal. And I think hazardous materials removal. I think what you mean, and there's two ways us listeners could probably interpret what you're saying. I think you're talking about contaminated soils at a house getting removed, or are you talking about removing hazardous waste like a waste removal group? Which way should we take this?
Yeah, good question, because it is kind of a vague hazardous material. Could be anything you don't like, right? We do primarily asbestos removal. We do lead-based paint. We do mold. We do, unfortunately, methamphetamine and fentanyl contaminated homes. We address those as well. So we're mostly in the insurance world, where if there's a flood or a fire, we get called in when there's asbestos, lead, mold, that the other companies, the restoration companies that were brought in to handle it, they aren't certified to do that. So we're kind of, if you will, kind of the SWAT team of the restoration industry.
And you know, we've been in construction also with our work, and we have a company. So I kind of, and we're actually going through something like this right now where you have to pay a specialist to remove something contaminated. It seems like a lucrative business. And so I could imagine it's attractive in that sense. It also sounds like you can grow the business through strategic relationships, if I'm hearing you right. So, but I'll tell you what the big catch we're all hearing on the other side is, how do you do it safely? How do you find, how much do you have to pay somebody? You know, does that erode the profitability, or is it just so hard to find people to do this? But let's start at the beginning. The pros seem to be you can charge at least a double, if not a triple, for labor cost on the retail side, if not more. And then you can probably charge a premium on every level. You know, what's the model look like on paper? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, so we've got kind of a cool, different model than most companies. We actually run a subcontractor model for all the labor. And so what we run into is we'll go look at the job. We get the referral directly from the restoration company. And they say, hey, you know, Mrs. Johnson's house needs some help. Come in. We're going to mark out the areas that have asbestos. We need you to jump in and get that part done. We then go sketch it, scope it, and we estimate it. And this is insurance pricing. So we're using the software that the insurance companies have all collaborated on and said, hey, for these line items, this is what we're willing to pay per square foot, per hour, per day, whatever that breakdown is. And then we turn to our subcontractors and we say, hey, it's a 3-guy, 4-day project, or a 2-guy, 2-day project, whatever it is, right? Whatever we think it is. And we give them the price that we believe it will cost them to do the work. And a lot of it with our subs, we've got amazing relationships with them. We couldn't do what we do without them. And so we make sure that we keep them very well paid. We actually pay top dollar, where they would have done it for cheaper for somebody else than for us, but we intentionally pay a little bit more to make sure they're incentivized to keep working with us and to want to work with us, right? We're not looking to take advantage of anybody. And then we basically take that, and there's a delta between what we can charge insurance and what we're charging, or we're paying our insurance or our subcontractor, and that's what we make as our profit margin. So typically, you're right, it is a very lucrative industry. We also pay our subcontractors really well. But yeah, and then the game for us is because I'm not the one doing the removal, and I'm not the one walking the jobs. I have 5 different people across the state doing that. And I've got those same types of people in multiple states, and those subcontractors working in each state as well. But it just becomes a volume game, right? Where we can just stack these jobs on top of each other. We build these relationships. Great, you got 4 jobs for us today. Cool, we'll knock them out in the next week, because we have the crews that can handle it. We have people to walk the jobs, and I don't have to personally do it. Other people that are on the sales and management team don't have to personally do it. So we can kind of leverage the effort that we put into it by having really good, trusted people that are doing it as well.
So, you know, as you're talking, I'm envisioning E.T., this movie with hazmat material, you know, coming into a house that, and most of your business, correct me if I'm wrong, is asbestos. Mm-hmm. What is the process of removing asbestos?
You're not far off. E.T., if you've seen Breaking Bad, that's another one we use a lot just to help people kind of visualize it. The workers are in full PPE, so personal protective equipment. So they're wearing Tyvek suits, they're wearing full face masks, respirators on the masks, gloves, everything. So asbestos is dangerous when it's airborne. So everything gets sprayed down with amended water first. So it's wet when we take it out. And the point of that is to bring all those fibers down to the ground. So we wet them down, remove it, and cut, do your normal cuts with a Sawzall or whatever you want to cut. A lot of the guys will just use knives, utility knives, and cut along a line that they use, like a chalk line. But yeah, I mean, you're not too far off with the ET idea of it's a full blown, everything's under negative pressure. So if you get a random dog or a cat that breaks through the plastic walls that we set up, the asbestos fibers are pulled into the containment versus pushed out into the rest of the home. There's a lot of liability that comes with it. And that's why a lot of these restoration companies don't want to do it. They say, this isn't worth it. You guys handle it, do a good job, take care of our clients, and we'll go find the next job. And those are our ideal partners.
And what does happen if an animal does get in there? How do you treat that?
Well, it's a pain in the butt to start. You basically need to seal it up as fast as you can, and you clean off. I mean, it's a little tough to vacuum a cat, but you can try. Yeah, you gotta basically clean off the animal as much as you can, and clean off the area that maybe right around where they cut through the plastic. So there's some wild stories of. I've had some dogs that come barreling through a containment. It was a hard-sided containment that broke through plywood to get into the containment. We've had cats breaking in. We've had a raccoon that fell through the plastic. They were in the attic. Yeah, they were in the attic. They fell through the plastic that we put up on the ceiling. We've had birds. We've had people steal equipment from an open-air job that was like 3 stories up. Somehow they're able to climb the outside of a brick wall, 3 stories up, no ladder, no anything, but they climbed it. And yeah, it's a wild industry. When you're in it long enough, you get some crazy stories.
Well, by the way, John, great question, because you're right. There's like there's several facets here. We're curious about how to do the work, right? We're curious about how to earn a living doing the work, but to wrap up how to earn a living, the way it works for you is it sounds like you're building a national brand for this, if I heard you correctly, and that this brand has relationships that allow for a steady flow of lead and prospects. And then on the backside, someone on your team is building the trusted partner on the ground program. So which part of this do you run, Matt? Which specialty?
Yeah, I'm the sales and marketing guy. I have the relationships that get the jobs in the door. So when you ask, how do we get it done? I know enough to be dangerous, but I trust the rest of the team to make sure I don't speak out of turn. My business partner is phenomenal at getting the work done properly. That's his role. That's all he does. That's what he focuses on. And so we joke that I had known him for a couple of years before I joined forces with him. I was actually sending him asbestos work because I was working as a restoration company, working for someone else, and that's a whole nother story. But basically,
that's the kernel I was looking for. That was your entree, and then from that you became an owner. So I mean, when you can, I'd love for you to explain that, because that's a big transition to become the owner. Yeah,
so it's kind of a fun story. I had been working for about 3.5 years for another company. And really grown it from about $400,000 a year, which is a decent living for sure, but nothing too crazy, to doing about $3.3 million a year in 3.5 years. So it was a lot of growth very quickly, and I was burnt out. I had 2 kids at the time, a 2-year-old and a newborn. I got like maybe 2 days of paternity, just turning my phone off, and then I was back at it. I was like, my second kid, I was like taking calls in the hotel or in the hospital room.
Oh yeah.
So it was one of those that it hit me that if I was going to be doing this, I needed to at least have equity in something, right? Like if I was going to be killing myself for this business, I need to own it. And it didn't work out that I could become an owner, for lack of better terms, without going down that rabbit trail, that it just wasn't a good fit. I wasn't seeing eye to eye with the current owner. And so the asbestos guy that we were sending the work to, I reached out to and said, hey man, listen, I just want to be your sales guy. I don't want health insurance. I don't want a salary. I just want to eat what I kill. I know how to sell this. I know how to build relationships. I know how to get more work. And that morning, his business partner told him he wanted to get out of the company because he wanted to buy an apartment complex. So he responds and says, well, sure, you can do that. Or you can just buy half of my company. And so
that's great.
And that was in very end of October of 2021. So I spent the next couple months of height of COVID. Everyone I knew that had money was basically just battening down the hatches, right? They're holding on to everything, not looking to invest, not looking to loan anything. And I was offering some crazy terms for loans. It was like 30% to loan me money. And people were like, if you're willing to do that, it might be something, but we're just not doing it right now. So I ended up going and doing what everyone tells you not to do. So if there's any financial advisors listening, cover your ears. Liquidated the 401k, liquidated the IRA, everything I had, except I promised my wife I wouldn't take a second mortgage out on the house. Everything else, fair game. And we put as much as we possibly could into buying the business. My current partner, he actually loaned the business money, a portion of the money as well, to help it buy itself. So we both loaned the company money to buy itself out from the previous owner. And then him and I agreed it would be 50-50 with a loan payback. After about 2 months of working together, he said, loan's forgiven, man. This is going to be big. Let's just focus on growth. So we basically got into it, and a few months later we were, debt free, as far as the loan goes, and we're off to the races.
Yeah. So what's the growth been like? What are the metrics?
So the first year we grew 300%.
Wow.
Last year we grew 300% over that. And this year we're looking at a solid double of last year. And that's just our Colorado location. When you add in the other locations, we could easily hit a triple or a quadruple over last year. So it's pretty exponential. It's been fun. A little wild at times. Definitely, you got to hold on tight, but it's been a good time for sure.
I like to always ask, is your wife involved in the business? And if so, what capacity?
No, she's not. She is very, very smart, and she's the sounding board that I bounce things off of when I get home. But she is living her dream as a stay-at-home mom. She basically made it possible for me to get into this industry. Before we had kids, she was working extra time. And I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for her. So all credit goes to her. But she, last year, 2 years ago, actually, she decided, you know what, we got kids. We tried doing the split time, stay at home work type thing. And she said, you know what, business is going well. I'm just going to stay home and raise the kids myself. So she's with the kids. Eventually she'll probably get back into work, once she's back in school. But yeah, for now she's not in the business. She likes pretty things, and asbestos and mold are about the opposite. So it's not gonna go well for her.
And I'm so happy for you.
What is the I'm curious to know, like, what is your sweet spot? Do you do commercial stuff? Or are you doing residential? What size?
Yeah, so we can do everything. What we found is a lot of the commercial stuff, it becomes kind of a race to the bottom on pricing, which we don't like. We don't like to bid on stuff. We'd prefer residential's our bread and butter. Insured residential all day, every day. We probably get 4 to 5 jobs a day that we're doing there.
Jeez, goodness gracious.
And then the light insured or light commercial. So, anything under 10,000 square feet, we're probably, that's right in our wheelhouse. Anything above that, you get into it was a multifamily apartment fire. If we have a direct in, sure, we'll go take a look at it. We'll work with the insurance company. But a lot of the times, again, you're getting bids. They're trying to fight everything, and it's just the margins aren't there for what we're looking to do. When we can look at the residential side and just churn and burn and build it out, get 10 jobs done in the time it takes one job to get done, we actually make more on 10 different houses than we do on one big project.
I'll tell you what, it's exciting to learn about your business. I'm just excited about one more thing, this growth vision. Are you guys an EOS implemented company, or what, do you have one of those operating systems?
So we've kicked the idea around a little bit. A lot of it's due to GoAbundance. I joined that about 6 months ago, and my mind's just been blown by the different ideas people have, and how, hearing their stories of growth and what they've done to build the businesses they have. We currently don't run an EOS system. If you'll believe it, I have 3 employees.
Really?
Everyone else is subcontracted. So we currently, our meetings are basically me calling one guy and saying, hey, I'm going to dial in the other guy. So it's pretty simple. But as we grow, I think we're gonna need some kind of an EOS system, or something along those lines. It might not be EOS, but that idea.
Hi, this is Melanie McCallan. Josh and I are just so grateful for the many investors who have already joined us at Accountable Equity. Accountable Equity is so much more than a capital group. It's really a community of accredited investors that want to learn and grow together. I just want to personally invite you, if you want to find out more about this type of investment and see if it's right for you and your family, please visit us at accountableequity.com. You can fill out the contact form. We'll get right back to you and see if this is a great fit for you and your family. We'd love to meet you. We look forward to learning about you. Please visit us at accountableequity.com.
Hey, this is Matt Sorensen, author of the Self-Directed IRA Handbook, CEO at Directed IRA. You're listening to the best podcast, the Capital Hacking Podcast.
Yeah, it's interesting. We didn't even bring up the fact that you and I are in the same GoPod together, Josh. I didn't even tell you that. But myself and Matt and Mike DeHaan, who we had on, and Tim Winter, the 4 of us are in a GoPod together. Yeah. And I said, Matt, you're the odd man out, man. You haven't been on the big show yet. So, I want to take this in a slightly different direction. We got about 5-6 minutes left, but you recently had an offering from a private equity company to buy you out. And that's something that we talked about quite a few times on our GoPod, and the decisions. And, my brain immediately went to, sell them, walk away, build something else. But take us through that process, Matt, and how did they get in touch with you and all that stuff?
Yeah, no, it's been an exciting couple months, to be honest. They got in touch actually through another connection through GoAbundance, if you'll believe that. His brother went to college with one of this company's operating partners. He said, hey, this is something that they might be interested in. You should talk to them. So I started that relationship, started talking to the operating partner, which then expanded to, hey, you need to meet the deal team. You need to meet the founder. And it's more of a boutique private equity group. So it's not one of the, multi-billion-dollar companies. It's a little bit on the smaller side. They're local. They're actually in the same town that we're in, which is kind of fun. But basically through the conversation, we got to this weird spot of thinking a couple of things. One is, and this is probably something that my wife wants me to go to therapy on, but if I'm going to sell more than 50%, if I'm going to sell 51%, I might as well sell the whole thing, right? It's that 1%. That's what matters to me. Up to 50%, very agreeable. You want that 1%, it's going to cost you millions and millions of dollars because I'm giving up control, right? And especially if it's something that I run, that I'm in charge of. So that part has been interesting because a lot of the offers that we got were that 51%, you guys stay on for 49, we grow this thing together, right? Which is in theory a great idea. But it also means we grow their company together, right? It's no longer my company. And so we kind of got to this point of saying, hey, you know what? If you want in, you got 2 options. You either do a very small percentage, you get in at 10%, or you buy the whole thing. And so the conversations are still ongoing. There's nothing officially said yet, no decisions made. We definitely have, tried to kind of say, hey guys, this isn't going to work. And they keep coming back to us and asking for different structures and different ideas. And they're great guys. They're not guys and girls, actually. They're good teams. So I'd be honored to work with them in the future. But yeah, figuring out that timing of, hey, is now the right time? I think that's been the biggest thing. I'm 32, so retiring for me, again, probably another thing to work on in counseling. My wife said I did not allowed to be home all the time. So if I sell the company, I got to find something else to do. So that's a little scary for me, just because I know what I know, right? And I'm pretty good at it here. So yeah, it's been an interesting couple of months for sure.
No, it's great reflection. I think what you're going through there is, first of all, a nice thing to be wanted by other companies. But tell me then, what is the growth strategy? I heard you talk about like a pretty audacious goal, but what is the method? And we'll let you teach us. Like, what does it look like to grow this company for you?
Yeah, so it's a cool. I've never seen a clearer vision to growth than I do right now. Basically what I need is someone that is trustworthy, that has amazing integrity, that I personally like, that I'm going to be working with, my business partner likes, and whatever town they're in, whatever city they're in, probably a different state than one that we're currently working in, we set up shop. Because setting up shop for us is just getting an LLC. And we open the doors and we say, hey, go out and build relationships with restoration companies. You get 3 restoration companies, 3 flood and fire companies that say, hey, I will use you for my asbestos abatement needs. That's all we need, because we can build out the crews. Because again, our secret sauce, if you will, is that we can estimate and negotiate with insurance for more money than other companies can. And so I can do that anywhere in the country. And so I can go to any crew and say, hey, you would charge $5,000 for this. I'm going to pay you $7,000 so that you get this done properly. You do this right for us. You do this well. I have consistent work for you for the rest of all time, because my sales guy in that location who has equity in the business keeps building relationships, keeps getting more jobs in the door, keeps getting more companies sending us work. So really what we're doing is just we're going upstream, and we're building this waterfall where work just keeps coming in, keeps coming in, keeps coming in. And then we get the trusted people, and word spreads very quickly. Oh, you guys are out there? Okay, cool. We'll get our license out there. I've got offices in Kansas, Phoenix, and Texas right now. Kansas, Arizona, and Texas. And I've got people in Colorado that are offering to get licensed in each of those states. That's because smart. They like working with us. So that's an option, but we can always get the local guys too, because we're paying more than other people, and we can fight for it. And there's a lot of things that come in, right? We pay quickly, we're on time, we're not just holding money back from people, we're fair, that kind of stuff. But what I found is that in this industry, if you're approachable, kind, and you're fair, you're going to be better than like 90% of the people that are in the business.
Yeah. Well said.
Love it. Love it, man. Wow. It's awesome. It's a great conversation. Josh, what else you got?
I just want to make sure if people want to learn more from you, Matt, are they able to reach out to you, or can they follow you online?
Yeah, absolutely. I can get you guys my website and email directly. What I'll probably do is have you get in touch with our administrative assistants, executive assistants, and then chat with them, and we can set up a call, set up a conversation. We're pretty much an open book. We want to grow. We want to partner with the right people. Getting that nationally is obviously tough, right? We've got a lot of people we trust now, but most of them live in Colorado because that's where I'm from. Yeah, go ahead.
What's the name of the company?
So it's called Environmental Construction Specialists, and we call it ECS.
ECS, Environmental Construction Service.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going to follow up, Matt. And anything else? Final comments to the world, buddy. What this show is so focused on identifying the value of human capital, the things that you're bringing, that tenacity, that time to the world, and how they can think differently about their future. Is there any final comments?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I found, and I can only speak from my experience, is that old adage of find something you love and just do it and turn it into a job, I actually disagree with. I think if you can, that's amazing, but pretty soon your hobby can become a chore.
That's true.
What I've found is find something that's profitable that you can automate, and then you can do whatever you want. So
awesome.
that's what I've started to do. And so far it's been pretty great. I mean, I still work in the business every day, but I've got really awesome people that I get to work with that my day to day, I mean, I'm in my house right now. My day to day is pretty low key at the moment. It didn't start that way. Don't get me wrong. I was in crawl spaces, attics, sewage, water. I was in everything. But now I've gotten to a point where I can pay people really well to do the things I don't want to do, and to have fun talking to them and helping them and coaching them up.
Well said.
Awesome. Thank you
Thanks,
so
brother.
much, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Damn straight. We just got
buddy.
We got to the end of another great show, and everyone listening right now, you're the family and friends. Thanks for staying till the end.
That was so fun. And hey, hit the like, hit subscribe. We're here to serve you guys. That's why we're doing this show. Josh is not paying me. I'm doing this off of my quote unquote sweat equity because we want to make a difference in your life. And then that ripple effect will continue to touch the world.
Hey, amen, brother. Please check us out on capitalhacking.com, all the social media threads. And yes, I know you've probably already sent this episode to one of your best friends. Thank you. We love you. Just go right into your iPhone, hit the plus symbol. We'll talk to you later. See you next week.
Share.